No,
Mandy
I
Moore.
can't.
Mandy Moore. Come on now.
Oh, my goodness. How do I even begin to intro this episode?
I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Welcome back to That Was Us, guys. The moment we have all been waiting for.
The moment you've been waiting
With
for.
bated breath, everybody, everywhere we go that knows about this podcast is asked when we are going to get this particular guest.
We're going to get him.
When? And he's finally arrived.
What's your name, man? Milo Ventimiglia.
In the house.
Hey, I'm here.
Finally.
I'm here. Nothing much, man. You guys asked me, and I'm like, I think I'm out of town. I think I'm working.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then
Listen.
finally, I was like, okay, wait. No, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm around. It's like I didn't want to like.
Thanks
No,
for
thank
making
It was one of those
you.
things. I'm like, I missed you guys. I love you guys. And then it was like, oh no, I really can make it, and I want to be here. I'm excited to be here. So
Thank you so much.
We're so thrilled to have you.
That's what we realized when we started talking about doing this podcast was just how much we missed each other.
Yeah.
And also how much we missed we did miss doing the show, but how much we missed out because we were so busy doing the show in appreciating fully appreciating the show.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to sit down and start rewatching it. And I thought I liked the show before.
Yeah.
And now I'm watching it with brand new eyes.
Yeah, it's
And-
wild.
which is fun.
It is.
It's fun. It's like it's such an emotional journey in such an unexpected way. I mean, to piggyback on what you're saying, Sully, it's just like I think because we were so in it, and once the machine of the show started rolling, we were able to interact with people to a certain degree,
Sure.
right? Like people that love the show and wanted to engage in conversation, but like to be able to really dig into the nitty gritty, and the show just goes so many different directions, and there's so much to talk about. I think that's why it's been so satisfying doing this, because like we are making a concerted effort, like episode by episode, to really dig into like the deep stuff that you can't address on like a tweet, you know, or on
How-
Instagram or something.
How deep are you guys into actually of watching the episodes? Like, where are you guys at?
We finished season 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're at the beginning of season 2. Like,
Okay.
the next episode will be 202. That
wow.
we sort of do.
That we
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about. Yeah, we
Where
did
this-
our
yeah.
finale, our
Oh,
finale
man.
fight, and talking about like
Yeah.
all of the choreography of that. Yeah.
Mandy Moore with her finger under my chin. Wait, no,
Did you really? Wait, tell me
Oh,
this.
this is wonderful.
Oh God.
So I'll just start by saying, of course, we all know that Mandy Moore is like one of the kindest,
Yes,
hardest
she is.
human beings.
Absolutely.
She is who you all see her to be.
Yeah.
Lovely, kind, beautiful, wonderful. Mandy Moore has never been cursed at in her life. Mandy Moore has never been cursed at
Yeah.
in her life.
No one
Yeah.
said F you to me before.
Yeah.
And in the middle of a take, things were kind of going in a direction. I think I, as Jack, was feeling it, and I was a little defensive.
it got hot. It got
It
a little
hot.
heated.
But wait, did you curse first or did I?
I think maybe I did.
I think you might have dropped an F-bomb, but then at one point, just like in this back and forth at the very end of like the chasing around, I'm just like, fuck you. But Mandy had like, and I kind of started to look away. Mandy literally, finger under my chin, pulled my face back. And what did you say though?
I don't remember.
It was incredible though, because
Mortified.
of course, like, you know, that was a oneer.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was a long one.
We
from
were in the heat of the
beginning.
moment.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh,
yeah.
and no, I know what you said. You said, look me in the fucking face.
That's right.
You said, look me in the
That's right.
fucking face. Yeah. It was great. It was directed by
Listen,
Ken Nolan.
sometimes you just have to go there.
We gotta
Yeah.
get we gotta get a
Love
director's
that.
cut of that scene.
Okay,
That's
wait.
what we
I
need.
actually do have a video of it in the editing room with Ken. I was watching it.
That would be
And
delightful.
you
I
got
do,
the
and I got
look
that.
me in the fucking
Yeah,
face.
Yeah. I have it. I'll find it. I'll find it.
Only we
please.
were on Hulu.
Yeah. No, I think there was something else I kept slipping when we're doing that big one, and I think I kept saying, God damn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you can't say
you
GD.
can say God, you can say
God.
damn, you just can't put
Correct.
the two together.
Right.
Yeah, we were so heated. That was a doozy.
Wait, let's take a few steps back.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time just a little bit and talk to us about how the show first came to you. Was it an audition? Was it an offer? Who'd you talk to? Like, how did first Jack come into your life?
Bro, it was straight up audition.
Okay.
It was like, hey, Fogelman's putting people on tape. And I was like, great. I read it. I was on an airplane.
Yeah. Did you read for Kevin?
I didn't. They told me specifically they were looking at Jack.
Okay.
And then as I first got into it, I'm like, okay, Jack, the dad. And then I got to, of course, Justin's Kevin and everything. And
You're
I'm like,
I'm Kevin. I'm not Jack.
actually, no, I didn't say I'm Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
really?
say I'm Kevin. I was reading Kevin and I'm like, oh, he's an actor. Oh, he's on his own. Oh, he's trying to find himself. I'm like, sounds familiar.
Familiar.
Sounds familiar. It's very,
Ringing
very
bells.
familiar.
Points of it.
But then as the more I was reading and I was going through, Randall and everybody's characters and just everything, I was like, oh, no, I see where Jack can go.
Yeah.
And I definitely connected with the character.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing. I think we've all said this. Like you get to the very end, you finish it, you take a breath, you kind of wipe your face, and then you flip it back over and you start again. And I remember, I think I was coming home from New York, and I read it back to back on the plane. And like right when I got off, I'm like, I'm so excited to go do this.
Yeah.
And then, I went, I had the audition pages in my back pocket. I walked in, Fogelman just sitting there smiling, and John and Glenn are there. And then, we just had a conversation. And then there was like, well, do you want to read? I'm like, yeah.
Sure.
It was, I think it was one of those things
sure.
Also, you guys all know this, like the words were just so there that
Yeah,
you don't have to really try. You
Yeah.
don't have to think
Yeah.
about it. You just kind of, you pick them up and you're like, all right, great. They're in my head. They're in my heart. They're in like my spine.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like talk. So like, I had my whoopee blanket pages, my sides in my back pocket,
But
but
you were
I
good.
was just ready to go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was ready to go.
I heard though that you were not the kind of man
No.
that Dan was envisioning for
Right.
Jack.
Dan wanted Dan.
Yeah, he.
No, serious. I think Dan wanted Dan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you came in and you blew everybody out of the water because weeks later, when they started to put together this idea of like a chemistry read with a couple of gentlemen and a couple of ladies, the only information that I received going into it was like, Milo is the guy. Like, he's the guy to beat. Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like that's good to know. And I remember getting there and then only reading with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hope that's a good sign because they love this guy so much. And
Yeah.
they didn't have me read with any
Who
of the
else
other
was
guys.
there? Do we know anybody
There were
else who was
two
there?
other actresses.
Okay.
And there was one
We know
other
one
guy.
is Alex because she told
Alex
us the other
Breckenridge.
day.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Right.
Which is so funny because she was supposed to read first.
Yes.
And then she stepped out, go use the restroom, I think. And they're like, all right, I guess we'll
Yeah.
keep going. They're like, Mandy, you
Yeah.
ready? And Mandy's like, yep.
Yeah.
Just like jumped, dove in, like,
So nervous.
We talked to Alex and we said that was a power move gone wrong. She was trying to pull like an audition power move.
Yeah.
I need a minute.
Just
I
a
can
minute.
use the restroom.
Yeah,
Mandy came in the
babies,
flower dress.
babies.
She was ready.
But no, man, I mean, it was so immediate in the room. And I remember like, we did our scene.
Mm-hmm.
You literally like, bye, and just walked
Just
out. She just
left.
bounced.
I was nervous.
She just bounced. Like,
Don't
really
talk
quick.
past the close.
No, it was incredible. It was really impressive. And I
Yeah.
remember like I kind of like glanced up and I see John and Glenn, and then I see Dan in the back, and Dan is just
It's always good. Like the producers
And he's
try not to
red.
give like too much
Yeah.
of a thing, but when they're happy,
Yeah.
you know.
he couldn't help himself. I think he knew immediately too.
Yeah.
And it was just it was how that.
What do you consider? Because like every character, you find somebody and you're like, okay, these are the similarities, these are the differences. For you, what are the touchstones, the points of entry for you into Jack that were easy? What were the things that you had to sort of reach for a little bit?
I felt like I was playing a version of my own father. It's like we all grew up in the same era, like 70s,
Yeah.
80s. We all grew up on the same things. And so we were basically the same age as the Pearson kids.
Yeah.
So when I would look at, like, read Jack and kind of hear his kind of essence and his spirit, I'm like, oh, this feels like just a version of Pete, of my own father. And then I realized that there were a lot of mannerisms that I was putting into Jack that were just my dad. From, like the way that he stands, the way he like shift his pants and his belt, like the wardrobe. He never had a mustache, but So
Did he do that with the hair a lot? 'Cause
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it. That's
he
it.
do
Yeah,
this,
that's a
yeah.
signature like
Yeah.
Milo
Do this.
Jack
Yeah.
move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like this one, kind of like, you know, like
Yeah, yeah,
patting
yeah.
that. Yeah. But so I was like kind of playing a version of my dad, and like my best friend growing up, like he is a really good father to his
Yeah.
kids. And of course, you know, like, you know, you guys all have kids and all that. And I just like started to kind of see that and like really like plug that in, like the essentials of who Jack is
Yeah.
and how he's handling this, this, you know, being a father.
Yeah.
But also I had this photo in my trailer of my dad and me when I was 5.
Yeah.
And I had a sign that said, "Be a good father, be a good husband."
I've seen that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where I was just like, let me just take with what I know from an emotional place, like a
Yeah.
feeling kind of a place.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the words are there. Build the character. A majority of it was literally just bouncing off of you, picking up what you do, what you did, to create that character. You know, it's like it wouldn't be Jack if it wasn't for Mandy.
Yeah.
So like that's that stuff of like what I knew.
Yeah.
What I struggled with was the alcoholism side of him.
Okay. Because we were talking just the other day, because we've gone through the run of the end of season 1. I was like, man, this dude is killing it. And I was like, I know Milo doesn't really drink that much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like every once in a while.
But the drunk acting was
Drunk acting was
so
solid.
unbelievable.
Drunk acting was solid. We
Thanks.
talked to
Yeah.
Sam Trammell also too, and we're like,
Oh, yeah.
Sam, was like Milo like fun and easy to get along with during those days? He was like, no.
He was a little scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a little
He said
afraid
you,
of
you said you
moments.
Makes
didn't even
sense.
talk on. He's like I think Milo's just he's gonna be over there and we'll just
Yeah.
But we
I'll
had some
show
of
up
those
and-
days too. It's like, and you were talking about with
Yes.
Sue too. It's like,
yeah.
as actors, like when you know you have to go to a certain place and you're not getting
Yeah.
along, it's like,
Right.
why buddy and
Sure.
like hang out
Sure.
with each other
No.
when you really have to like find
Yeah.
those differences on
do you,
camera?
do you remember when we were doing that big argument at the end of season 1?
You moved your chair out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
of course, like the little room where, you know,
Sure.
chairs
Yeah,
and
sure.
whatnot
Of course.
are. And I remember like Mandy like walked in and I think we took the van together
Yeah.
to
Silently.
because you had that big dress on.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we get there and we walk into the room, Cricky's sound room
Yeah.
in the house, in the Pearson house. And we walk in and I just picked my chair up and left.
Yeah.
And I saw Mandy just,
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's like that.
Oh,
Okay. Got it. Got it.
all right. No, you look.
But it's a necessary thing. Like for people who are on the outside might feel like, oh, it's all love all the time. It is.
it is, yeah.
But you know, when you have that connection with people, you have the permission. Like they're going to understand
Right.
the headspace that I need to maintain in order to make this scene work.
yeah,
You know what
it's a
I'm
small
saying?
gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond the alcoholism, what were the other parts of Jack or connecting to the character that maybe were like a bit more of a challenge?
I think always trying to find a way to make things honest and real and genuine from a purely creative imagination standpoint. You know, like at the time I wasn't married.
Right.
Like I'm not a father. So like to be able to,
Congratulations.
oh, thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I got married last year.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. But it was just a different experience, you know, because I don't know how you guys experience your craft, but for me, my imagination never lets me down.
Sure.
And my imagination can go as far and wide as any personal experience that I could have.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I believe in the character. I believe in my co-stars. I feel like I truly only show up for them, not for myself, like show up for them first.
Yeah.
So not having those experiences, like not being a father, not being married in that moment, it was like, wait, I don't understand this. So it's let me have faith in my imagination, how far it's gonna go, but also just like approach it with love. Like I had a professor at UCLA when I was going to school there who said, approach everything with love, no matter what kind of character you're playing.
Right.
Find the love in that character. It was very easy. Jack was a lovable guy, and you
Yeah.
know, our family was very lovable. But I mean, I think, you know, connecting to the kids and trying to find a way to work within that, and like, they're not ours, they're not mine, but also like fuck, I loved all those kids too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Great.
really, truly, still just like look at them and like they're growing up. I start
Yeah,
crying.
man. Totally.
You know,
I think we've talked about it several times. It's a theme on the podcast about who populates this world, and there are all of these characters from our television past who populate this world that make the world feel like home. that make it feel familiar,
Right.
that make it feel like, why do I know that person? Oh, that's the mom from that 70s show, or
Sure.
that's, you know what I mean? Like, and it's populated in a way that it's not like a trick of casting. It populated so well. And I think the casting of yourself is included in that.
Yeah.
Like our demographic, the people who are watching our show had grown up watching you.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
In this world, in a fantastical world, in all of these worlds, so that by the time they get to the This Is Us world, you as a paternal figure, it feels like home.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Unbelievable.
oh, this guy.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
Well, also too, I mean, for a majority of any of our careers and them being in television, we are in people's homes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're there. We're eating meals with them.
Sure.
We're in bed with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
More importantly, yes.
More importantly, yes.
Yes.
That's what I like to
Like
do.
we are just kind of there for that experience of being home. So I think there is that connective piece for the audience where we are so familiar,
Yeah.
where we are, part of the family.
Yeah. How did that affect the way you moved through the world? I mean, you quickly became America's dad and the star couple, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I was
we've
going
talked
to
about
ask
it with
that.
Mandy,
Like,
but
how did it affect you? But also, did you feel like a certain sense of responsibility because Jack was a superhero?
Yeah.
I mean, still is. It's
Yeah.
like when people comment on the show, it's like you loom so large in people's conscience, and I just like I wonder if that like had any bearing on like did you feel this certain weight maybe?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I remember even a conversation with Fogelman. I was like going through something in my personal life, and I was sitting with Fogelman. I was like, man, I said, Jack is just so hard to live up to. It was just so hard to live up to,
Yeah.
because everybody expects that.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah, yeah.
expects that. And I'm like, look, I can plug as much of myself into the character. I can turn the lights on with him. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that's a character.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like vocal tone, dress, hair, makeup. I mean, shit, I got my beard and I'm wearing something that I feel like Jack would wear.
you're
But it's
jacking out right now.
I know, a little bit.
jacking out, you're really jacking
Jacking
off.
out.
You're jacking
No,
off.
jacking
out.
You're
No,
jacking
no,
out.
no,
Jacking
no,
out.
no,
Yeah.
It's a new thing. There's going to be T-shirts at the NBC store now. Are you jacking out?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. It'll be a
Missed
flannel
an
t-shirt.
opportunity.
A flannel
years
t-shirt.
ago.
Yeah, only on This Was Us podcast. Jacking out. Merchandise coming out 2025.
More That Was Us after this short break.
All right, it is back to school season for all of us. And while you might think it's too late to jump on the back to school bandwagon, it's never too late to start with Peloton. Whether you're just getting back into fitness or ready to tackle something new, Peloton's got training plans for everyone. No need for Randall Pearson overachiever mode. Just start when you're ready.
I love Peloton so much. The instructors are amazing and they have something for everybody. You can be a beginner, you can be an expert, you can be intermediate, you can be working on strength, you can be working on your cardiovascular fitness, you can want to meditate, whatever it is that you are looking for, from the treadmill to the bike to the rowing machine, Peloton has something just for you.
Listen, I do a lot of traveling, and so the Peloton app goes with me wherever I go. All of their different training sessions, yoga, stretching, meditation, they're all right in my pocket, on my phone.
With Peloton, the possibilities are endless. With Pilates, boxing, marathon prep, strength training, boot camps, yoga, there's so many to choose from. Want to try something totally new and different in the safety of your own space? Or are you a pro who is pushing themselves with each and every workout? No matter your experience level, Peloton has you covered.
Maybe you're into something lighter, like having a workout companion for your daily walk or squeezing in a quick meditation session to de-stress. The best part is you decide how long or how short it is. Honestly, these days, finding an hour or more for a full workout is rare. Sometimes all you need is a little movement, like a late night walk around the block to clear your mind or a peaceful meditation session to wind down before bed.
No matter how you work out, it's up to you. Find the instructor and the routine that works for you on your schedule in your space.
Find your push. Find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com. I could talk about my experience with Airbnb because
Let's
I've
do
been
it.
using it since the very beginning.
Same.
I've used it across 3 or 4 different countries.
Really?
Because when I go somewhere, I want to be comfortable.
Yes.
I want to have my own space, and I want my space to be in the middle of the action. I don't want it to be where all of the hotels are located.
Sure, you
I
don't want to
wanna
be removed from the action.
No, I want to be in the city. I want to be amongst the people.
Yes.
Feel local.
I want to feel like a local.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is to stay in someone's home.
I love that. I love that.
While you're away from home and traveling, your home could be an Airbnb. What better way to earn a little extra money or offset some of your other travel expenses? This year, I'm going away for work. I might be gone for 6 to 8 months at a time. And so not only do I need to find the perfect place to stay where I am going, but while I'm gone, I could list my home or our brand new guest house on Airbnb for whoever may be looking for that perfect place to stay.
Well said, sir. Listen, when you're on the go a lot or are road tripping with your estranged family members exploring the complicated secrets of your past, Airbnb is a smart choice to make to ensure those trips, no matter how simple or complicated they may be, are as smooth as possible.
And your home might be worth more than you think. Find out how much at airbnb.com/host.
Yeah, no, it was very incredibly hard to kind of live up to the kind of space that Jack took up.
Yeah. I mean, Jack is he's the show, this show, we talk about the show as a handbook for living.
Yeah.
Through good, bad, or otherwise. And Jack is such an aspirational example.
Yeah.
Like at every turn, whether
Yeah.
things are going poorly or things are going well.
Yeah.
Or, it's a lot to live up to.
What I kind of looked at Jack, but then this also like really truly branched out, like for Randall, like for Toby, for you, for everybody. It's like our characters are attainable superheroes. Like you look up to them in a way that is, in this bad moment I'm having, what would they do?
Yeah.
In this great moment I'm having, what would they do?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of sets the tone of, and I think that was the inspirational side of the show.
Yeah.
And being out in the world that we all felt was people connected to our characters so much because they were able to draw so much of our fictional experiences with their real
Correct.
experiences.
This show has had positive direct effect on my marriage. You know what I mean? Like find myself in a certain situation and remember a scene that I was literally in and how that argument went.
Really?
How it should have gone. We've all talked about how spooky it was. Like it felt like the writers were following us around at times.
Yeah.
And life continues to unfold for some of us, 3 babies, couple of babies, you know what I mean? Like, and so it would seem spooky if you didn't realize, I guess, how universal all of this is.
Yeah, even in its specificity.
Yeah.
We say that a lot. Like there's so much universal and so much to learn. Like even I think watching rewatching the show, like with this new lens of being a parent now too. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, months ago, episodes ago, like there's something that your character like says to Kevin where he just like totally takes accountability. Like, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done. And I was like, that's how you do
Swimming
that.
pool?
Like,
Yeah.
in the swimming
Yeah.
pool.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where you just apologize and you own it. You own the fact that like, I was distracted. I didn't mean to. And it was just like those little things in life that you just like, it's like a light bulb moment of like, oh, wow, it's that easy just to like take accountability with your kids. I'm not necessarily at that juncture yet. But.
This is the crazy part with that. That whole scene was improv. That was whole like that wasn't Fogelman. That was like that was like.
It's just you looking at Parker.
I know you may have experienced this with John and Glenn, but yeah, it was me and Parker, and Glenn was like, so we kind of want you to go over and like, take responsibility in this and whatever, and like, but you've been looking at the other kids, and I remember Parker and I are just doing the scene. He was so honest and good. I think it was because he had no line, like there were no lines. He was just going off of what he felt.
Yeah.
And he was riffing, and I was riffing, and then John would holler something out, and then Glenn would holler something out, and I'm trying to like wait for it to sink and then fire it back at Parker and just go in and so I mean that was just
know that.
I had no idea.
And it's interesting because that interaction is good enough for some people watching who never got to have that interaction with their dad. who never heard their dad apologize or take responsibility for anything.
Yeah.
And they're living in these characters and they're putting themselves in these positions and they see that interaction and it's healing.
Yeah.
To see a father apologize to his son, period. Like that's it. That's the magic. That's the alchemy of the show.
So okay, this is interesting then because you're talking about living up to Jack and whatnot. And I've had a similar sort of feeling. I was like, you guys know, I'm not Randall. I wasn't raised by white people. I'm not hardly that nice. Like it's not their thing. But like I'm very.
It might seem that way.
Sterling, you're a
But you
very
are not
kind
nice.
man. You have a big heart.
I
bro.
appreciate that,
You
but
do.
I think
You do
Randall's
have
is
a big
bigger.
heart.
I actually think Randall's is bigger. Like, and I give him all the credit in the world. I try to aspirationally live up to it. And I feel like he asked me to lean into the best parts of who I am. Oftentimes, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I'm curious, like when people talk to you about Jack, what gets reflected back? Like, what are the things that the touchstones that people would be like, yo, when I saw Jack do this sort of happened to me. Like, I'm sure there's a lot, but like ones that really sort of resonate.
I mean, I think the fundamentals kind of go back to what I had on my mirror in our trailer, which is be a good dad, be a good husband.
Yeah.
And that's what I would get from a lot of men was, you know, I feel like I can relate to my kids. Or I'm maybe more patient with my wife where, you know, I would have a little bit of, you know, a brick wall in front of my head and be a little headstrong as a man in situations.
Yeah.
So like that was what I would see more, just kind of like simply and fundamentally. Other times, you know, if it's a woman walking up to me, it's a little more like, I wish my husband was like Jack.
Sure.
And I'm like,
That tracks.
hey, they're all, you know, just give him a chance. Just give him a chance. He'll get there. As you watch the show with you, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't want to cry.
Maybe you should try to be a little more like Rebecca.
Which is
Yikes,
wonderful.
I gotta go.
No, but that's true. That's true.
That would be what a random shot. You know what Milo Ventimiglia just said to me when I tried to give him a compliment? Oh my god!
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful, the impact though. So, and also too, like you guys getting to watch it. Like, so my wife, she just finally started watching it.
Okay.
She's barely ever seen anything I've ever done.
Wow.
Anything I've ever really
Isn't
done.
that kind of cool?
I appreciate it.
But you're like, now can
I
you
wish
watch
you'd watch-
something
I
that
wish
I
you'd watch a
know?
little more.
There's a few things I'm like, you know, this one is actually funny. Yes, this dog one will make you cry.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of things.
You know, this one you like Baby Milo.
Yeah.
But no, she just decided to like turn it on when like I was away from the house, like just to watch something while she's like eating a meal.
Okay.
And so I'll like pop into the room and I'm like, oh, shit, oh.
How far in
to-
is she? How far in?
She's past you guys. She just got past the Super Bowl episode.
Oh,
She's like 2 or 3 past the
okay.
Super Bowl episode.
Got it.
Yeah.
So how is it hitting her?
She can separate, which is nice. She can separate Jack
Sure.
from me.
Yes.
But she's like, yeah, just I fucking cry.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's one of those things. She's just crying and like taking it in and like we haven't I'm not asking her, I'm not badgering her like, hey, so tell me about this character, tell me about this scene, tell me any of this stuff.
Of course.
It's more just like I'm waiting for her to like want to talk to me about it.
Sure.
But also in a strange way, it still feels to me so close and so recent that like I walk in, I'll be like, okay, I gotta go.
remember that.
Yeah.
And I walk out, you know?
It is.
And sometimes I'll linger just because I'm like, I remember watching this. This is a beautiful moment. And, you know, just for myself, my own enjoyment. But then I'm like, I can't watch it just yet.
Got it.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Let me ask. Okay, you're talking about the actor's imagination, which is one of our greatest assets, and then there's life experience, right? Those two things will sort of like fill in things. You were married now. You were married for 6 years to Rebecca. Do you feel like there's any things from your TV relationship that you bring to like, oh, I kind of like on a scene, I remember doing this or what have you. Like, are they apples and oranges, like completely unrelated to one another? Or does one inform the other in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
I got to get back to you on that. I feel like I need to analyze
Okay.
moments I've had
That makes
with my
sense.
wife to see if they're was any crossover.
Yeah.
I think also though Jack and Rebecca had a very specific, very time period centric
That's true.
relationship.
Yeah.
We have
Like,
talked about that 80s dad versus modern dad.
Dude.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even to the point like my dad, he's a fortress, and I know Jack. He showed a little more emotion than men of that era that were born in the 40s.
Yeah.
But still, it was like just that dynamic, and I'm like, man, I talk to my wife about everything,
Yeah.
Right.
even the uncomfortable stuff or
Sure.
the things I'm not proud of or whatever. I'm like, hey man, let me just kind of tell you what's going on.
That's
and
right.
I don't think my father has ever done that, and I don't really believe that Jack. Well, it's like even like the Vietnam stuff. He kept it.
Correct.
He
Yeah.
kept
Yeah.
it from his wife. He
Yeah.
kept it from everybody.
It was just men of a different generation.
men of a different generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any storylines over the 6 years that have particular resonance? I mean, the Vietnam thing was absolutely huge. I remember in season 6 when you go back to be with your mom.
Oh yeah, we
That
talked
joint
after that one.
Effed me. Oh
Yeah.
But I'm curious for you because you've lived it for 6 years. Anything?
Yeah, or specific episodes that stick with you that like were particularly challenging or meaningful. I know it's so hard to distill down. Like I
Sure.
don't know if I could answer that
Well, it's
question.
also, I mean, God, in 6 years, you know, it had changed so much. It's man, that's such a hard one. I mean, I think if I were to kind of like individually,
Yeah.
character by character, almost really break it down.
Yeah.
Like there are those moments. Like all the time I did spend like that we spent or I personally spent with the kids, the teens and the littles is just it was just special in a way that, you know, I think I've had in jobs, but to be able to like to grow that and like literally let this young actor know that, hey, I'm gonna be around when the show's over. I know we're experiencing all this stuff, but like I'm gonna be around the show's over. So call me anytime. Tell the parents, hey, call me anytime I'm around.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we all didn't get a chance to like really dance as much as actors.
Yeah.
And
Talked
a
that
lot
personally
about
was
that.
like the biggest hit for me.
Yeah.
Because I think in a way that also was like, well, that's the experience of being on a set. And I think
Yeah.
you and I are so close because we've had so many moments.
Right.
So many moments. Like the
True.
good, the bad, the whatever. It's like we're just there in it. And
Yeah.
like you have to find
Together.
a way together. Like we all never really had that.
Yeah.
Like we had a couple moments on set. I'm like, oh, that's all I get. And then otherwise, just like Sterling and I had an event where everybody's celebrating us,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
it's like we're being pulled in a million directions. Or when you were directing and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, cool, give me another direction. I want
more
give me
interaction.
more
This
interaction.
is all
Give
we
me more
get.
interaction.
Yeah.
Come on, please. You
So
know?
everybody knows, like, was like
I was
in,
an
in a
island.
different timeline,
Yeah.
right? And so he only had Mandy and John to sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
bounce
yeah,
off
yeah.
of, really. And so we would be in modern times, and Milo had a camera, had his camera, he'd roll his film or whatnot. I'm like, hey guys, he'd just be dicking around the corner,
Yeah.
and just was like, sorry guys. Just like, you know, and he's like, is it okay? Is it okay? I was like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. Because he just like the sense was like, I want to be a part of all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and I think for the viewers, oftentimes they were like, "Oh, they weren't together all the time," and they're like,
Yeah.
"No,
Cross paths and hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also too, like respectfully, I'm like, I'm a guest when I'm on your guys' set. Like I'm showing up as it's like, yes, it's our crew, but there was a level of respect where I never wanted to intrude. I never wanted to interfere. Like there was one moment where I should not have been on set with Mandy.
Oh, with the funeral?
Yeah.
We've talked about it. We talked about it.
We talked about it with Logan yesterday. The first one.
Oh, Logan was on.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
get
had it.
out.
We zoomed with
Yeah.
him and
Oh,
we were
great.
talking about that. He was like, it was really eerie. Like Milo is there
Yeah,
taking
the
pictures
ghost.
and we're like
The ghost of
looking
Jack
at his
Pearson.
picture in the funeral, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
I
propped
shouldn't have
up
been
on the
there.
stand.
I'm embarrassed.
No, it was
but
fine.
I got the most amazing photo of Mandy. There's the three kids, you know,
Yeah.
there's Niles and Logan and Hannah, and like they're just like in profile lined up, like just heads, you know, forlorn. And Mandy's there, and you see the priest, and you see Jack's photo, and Mandy just threw eyes at me, and I
Caught it.
I was shooting film,
Right.
So like, it's not like I got 10 shots of that. I was like, no, I got one shot of that, and it is the most piercing look
Really?
I have
Wow,
ever
dang.
received. But I was like, I gotta go.
No, I was
No,
you know, I was like in the moment of
You're a pro. You weren't saying anything to me, but I felt the vulnerability. I felt the exposure where I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I can't just tuck around a corner.
Right.
I actually need to remove myself from this. And maybe my contribution to this scene is actually not being here.
But what a meta you were though. So what a meta haunting.
And we've,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
we've talked
to have
about
dad actually there.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before too, but to just sort of jump in time to the Super Bowl episode and Jack's death, and
Let's talk about it. I want to get there. Let's do it.
and Milo actually being there and not knowing that you were going to be there.
In the bed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you didn't know.
No.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, you
Of
were.
course.
Yeah.
So you guys talk about that because I don't really know what you. Yeah.
So Super Bowl episode, of course, Jack and Rebecca have a wonderful evening. Yeah, Jack has a fight with the kids. Things aren't great, but like they find a way to kind of salvage the day that was usually so historic for the Pearson family on Super Bowl Sunday. And then of course, fire starts, everybody gets out, everybody's safe, we're in the hospital.
Right.
And I remember the day we were filming, we filmed all of that kind of progressively.
We did. Yeah, like
So-
sequentially,
really?
which
In
is
order?
never,
Hardly ever get
which
to
is
do.
the hardly ever the case.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's like, we had a bunch of work to do. Mandy had something to do by herself at the vending machines. And then it just kind of dovetailed straight into, her seeing me. And
You guys I just want to say this is maybe my favorite moment of the show.
What?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
it's,
I'm not even. I
it's
think
pretty, it's powerful when you,
we'll talk about it again, but finish from this perspective.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Ken directed that one, didn't he?
No, it was
John and Glenn. Sorry, John and Glenn.
John and Glenn.
Sorry, because Ken did the one before.
Yes.
That's right. And so John and Glenn, they're like, yeah, so we kind of want this tableau where we kind of maybe see you on the bed, monitor still on, shirt open, because they tried to save you. And we kind of want to see you in the background. We're not telling Mandy you're going to be there. She was going to walk in
Right.
and, see you, and we're just going to let her do her thing.
Yeah.
So I remember I got into the bed, Mel, our med tech, she hooked up all the wires and everything, and then I was just kind of laying there. And then I hear the whole scene by the vending machine, and I'm slowing my breathing down,
Yeah, man.
and then
Look, mine's like doing a deep sea, like
oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the deepest
Wim
breath,
Hof.
the
Yes,
deepest
Wim
breath.
Hof. You're doing the Wim Hof method. Just
Yeah.
hold your breath. Yeah.
We have a whole episode about Wim Hof.
Yeah.
But so I'm breathing deep, and then finally I just kind of let it all go, and I'm just still and peaceful, and I feel Mandy walk in, just
Yeah,
that kind of presence and weight of the moment, and it's dead silent, and then I just hear her crumble and hear her break and all of that. It was just, I'm like, what can you do but just kind of lay there and
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't know what I was expecting, but I definitely, when something's supposed to happen off camera, you
Yeah.
don't often expect the actor to be
Right.
there. It's like I guess in my mind, if I really thought about it, I was like, oh, it'll just be an empty bed, and I can imagine but there were so many, there was so much of that day that I had built up in my mind of. We had almost 2 whole seasons that were leading up to this gigantic question that loomed so large for people that watch the show and love the show and wanted to know about Jack. And so it felt like this, it felt like a lot of pressure. We were at that strange hospital set that we shot so much of the
So much.
show
Yeah.
at.
yeah.
And I just remember trying to stay in my head and stay present and grounded, but seeing you there was just all anybody would need to completely just lose it.
yeah. I think I even did the eyes open thing too.
Yes.
You like
yes.
that?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
did the eyes open. Yeah.
I
That's
think
it.
you,
Get
I,
real
I
still
think you can
stare.
actually see that because you're in the
Reflected
reflection.
Reflection.
in
And-
the,
That's
and you can actually see that in the
Yeah.
reflection
I
that your
can't wait
eyes
to
are
watch
open and
that
not
again.
closed.
That's 2:14. I mean, real quick, because I'm gonna tell you what the favorite moment is. I think it's one of the greatest feats of acting that the show has seen. It's the candy bar.
Yeah, you did, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mandy, and it don't. It's fucking stupid what you do. It's
Yeah.
to hold 2 things at the same time. That the disbelief of receiving information and just
Chomping away.
chewing on this thing. I was watching it I don't know how the fuck she's doing this shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there's like a weird kind of like technical aspect of it. Where you're like, do I really want to be chewing on a candy bar when I walk in on my dead husband?
Yeah.
And like you handled that. No, she did. She takes like a big like whopping bite of it, and
quick
then
swallow.
it's like swallows. It's gone.
Yeah, gone.
And then has the moment. Wait, no.
Jack.
Yeah.
And it is the moment that returns to my brain most often from
Oh
the
my
show.
gosh, that's crazy.
No, I
Wow.
just think about it. Sometimes
Wow.
they'll just pop in there. It is.
I mean, but that is like such a feat of Dan Fogelman to write something like that.
Well, because he wrote it too, because you referred to it later in the episode. Like I was chewing the candy bar, and I was like, oh, like it was planned, like it was all.
Yeah.
I know. He's such a crazy genius. It boggles the brain.
But you killed that shit.
Oh, thank you.
Wanted to say
I just remember spitting out so much like Mars bar
Sure.
or Three Musketeers or whatever it was.
Oh,
and
sure,
they had like a little
Rick
trash
and Andy
can.
were there with like,
And standby of like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, can't eat any more candy bar.
Yeah. That was a
Okay.
lot.
We'll be right back with more That Was Us.
Hot take, y'all. We may all be in different phases of life, but we probably have one thing in common. We're dealing with stress on a pretty regular basis. It could be work stress, social stress, family life stress, finding the time to maintain relationships, or even navigating the dating scene. Take it from me. To get ahead of the impact stress can have on your hair health with Nutrafol.
Well said, sir. Your hair is never just about your hair, and Nutrafol knows that. It could be your dating life, your diet, the juggling act that parenting can be, finding your rhythm and new routines, or even following your favorite sports team in an intense season. It could be almost anything that has almost nothing to do with hair. Nutrafol takes a whole body approach to hair health, addressing problems inside to help hair grow on the outside.
Nutrafol is unique in that its physician-formulated ingredients are 100% drug-free and clinically tested in multi-target key root causes that many might not consider as a contributor to thinning, like stress, nutrition, and lifestyle. Nutrafol has multiple formulas that are tailored to give your hair what it needs to grow throughout different stages, such as aging and parenting, as well as for different lifestyles, such as plant-based diets.
It's never been simpler to start a hair growth routine with Nutrafol. You can purchase online and skip the doctor's visit or prescription, and free shipping and automated deliveries means never missing a day of your routine. Good things take time, so most people start to notice improved hair growth in 3 to 6 months.
Address your root causes of hair thinning with Nutrafol, the hair growth routine that keeps up with your life. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code TWU. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code TWU. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code TWU.
I want to talk a little bit about the facial hair of Jack Pearson, because I
Yes.
think it was a big thing. Because I think you had the first pitch of like how you thought it could play through time, didn't you? In terms of the stash or something.
I did because, of course, from the pilot to the second episode, originally was scripted that Jack is clean shaven, looking much older. I'm like, bro.
I'm gonna look like a baby.
I'm like, Dan, if you shave me, I'm not gonna
It's
look.
not gonna-
I'm
yeah.
not gonna look older, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look a lot younger. So I think the way we accomplished this, a man of the '80s, would give him a mustache, and he was like, I don't know, and his maybe, and so then he kind of it was a
good Dan, by the way.
it was a real
Yeah.
long conversation.
I mean,
and,
the iconic father and the mustache in modern television don't go together
Right.
in your head.
Right.
But this is like the darkness of Dan Fogelman. Apparently, he like was walking around like the production offices, like, would you yes or would you no if he had a mustache?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you want to make sweet love? Is
Yeah.
what you're
Thank
talking
you,
about.
thank you.
Yeah, I
I'm-
got you.
I was trying. Yeah,
I understand. I got you.
and it was polarizing.
This was about 6 months before he could no longer do anything like that ever again.
But also Fogelman in his like sweet cherubic way
Sure.
was asking that like sincerely, like, I
Yeah.
mean, do you like him yes or do you like him no with the mustache? And
Yeah.
and
I mean, who were the people that said no? Is what
They
I
couldn't
don't
want.
see it.
know.
They
Ken
couldn't
Olin.
see it, is what
Ken
happened.
Olin.
They had to
I'm
see
like,
it in order to
Milo,
understand.
you could like have 4 heads. Like, come on. I mean,
You could have had the
with
Charlie
mustache, you with the
Chaplin.
beard. Exactly.
And people still-
Totally.
I could
So-
go another
I don't know, man.
direction.
Yeah, no, I saw that one.
I picked carefully.
You picked very well.
I was like,
Well
maybe
said.
the artist.
Yeah.
Maybe the artist.
That's right.
Pencil thin.
There
John
we
Waters.
go.
You would be-
Yes. John
yes.
Waters.
But I remember the first time I did. So I had the beard, and like the beard was like really like coming in and growing.
Yeah.
And then he said he wanted to do this when we read the second episode. And then I remember he's like, okay, yeah, go ahead and do it. And then Zoe was like, hair and makeup was like, hey, we got to take a mold of your face because we're gonna have to build all these appliances, like
Right.
build your beard back and build,
Yep.
think about all the stuff ahead. And so I was at the effects house with Zoe and Michael and the effects team, and we were getting ready to cast my face. We cast my face, cool, pulled it off. And then it was like, we're gonna do another cast, shaven with the mustache. We had to do 2 back to back.
Okay.
And I remember Zoe had just clipped half of my face. And there was a PA from the effects house in the back going, wait. What? This poor kid was like, okay, we'll call you back. And he goes, they don't want you to shave yet. And I was like,
Too late.
keep going. Just
Too late.
like, keep going.
Yeah. You're already halfway.
But then I was like, oh, maybe I'll fuck with him. So I did a handlebar mustache.
Okay.
And I sent it to Fogelman. I'm like, what do you think? Like, did some big crazy eyes or something?
This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Yeah. Absolute Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain.
Did you anticipate? I'm sure the answer is probably no. In terms of like time travel, jumping, mustache on, clean shaven, beard, etc. Like, did you think it was going to be that much when we first signed on to it?
I didn't know the specificity, but I remember one day you walked into hair and makeup. You're like, you getting your hair flat ironed? And I was like, yeah. That's the character. This is what happens. It makes it easy. This is the magic. Here we go. Let me tell you about the rest of it. Get hair pieces, get appliances, this and that. I didn't know, but did any of us really know?
No.
I mean,
We're gonna get Zoe
No.
and Michael in here to talk about
Yeah.
it. I had a wig fitting for a different project a couple days ago, and it was the same person who did all of our wig fittings.
Yeah.
I was like, I recognize you. Where do I recognize you from? And This Is Us came up, and he and I were just talking about the technical proficiency with which our characters traveled through time with the use of hair and makeup on this show was so good that nobody noticed.
Right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately never got the nods that it deserved.
Yeah.
Because you, especially you two, slid back and forth through time so seamlessly from like 24 to 65 to full beard. Full beard or a full wig is so hard to pull off on film and television. And I just don't think people realize like the level of your goatee, your mustache, like Williams beard and goatee, and like you all obviously your age makeup, like it was astounding every time you guys would come on. And you could stand, it wasn't like it looked good on camera. You
In
could
person.
stand inches from this person.
See, we could work in like espionage.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Truly.
right.
Actually, and truly, because our special effects, I feel like they have been known to like do work for like government espionage stuff. So
Oh yeah?
yeah.
Is that Boy, that's a
Of
hot
course
take.
you know
Maybe
that.
That's a hot
maybe Mandy
take.
Moore was part of that. I don't
Maybe.
even know. Maybe like
Tell him a little bit, Maya.
Maybe
about
this Is Us was a deep ops.
about eating and laughing and talking,
Yeah, we talk
etc.,
about
and
this a
having
lot,
it all
not trying
on.
to like pop your.
What was that process?
You got
We
it.
just watched the video. We just watched the episode with you and William
Oh man.
sitting there laughing, and
You-
you
Oh, dude,
After
and
he
both
passed
are
away.
laughing so
Oh,
hard, and you're
man.
trying so hard
Yeah,
not to.
and Ron
lose
and I
your-
are both just.
You guys both have
we
the
can't.
most iconic laughs, though,
Totally.
too. It was
Yeah.
just, there's something so deeply heartwarming about watching it. But then also knowing, like,
Yeah.
they're both trying not to pop their
I
fake
do remember
goatees.
there'd be times we'd see each other like at base camp or whatnot, and you'd be eating or something, and I'd say something funny, and Mama,
Yeah. So here's the thing. I would touch my mustache because my mustache was mine.
So you
Yeah.
didn't pull anything else
So I'm
off.
not pulling anything else
Yeah,
off.
yeah, good.
And then there's Griffin Dunn, who just shoveling stuff in his face like
didn't
moments
care.
after
Does not
Zoe
care.
put his beard and mustache on.
Griffin Dunn plays
didn't
Uncle
care.
Nicky, who joins us later on the show.
Yeah.
Griffin's like just have beard all over the place. It didn't
Everywhere,
matter.
everywhere.
You would.
Yeah, what a process all that was. But again, it's like, and then also too, like in conjunction with the wardrobe.
Yeah.
Like really, we had this beautiful, creative, artistic team around us, working with us hand in hand, that we're creating these characters as much as the words were, as much as our own hearts and minds were.
Truly.
Like all this stuff, it was wonderful to slide in and out of these eras and these characters and these just different emotional notes.
Knowing you could lean on that made it so seamless. It was like we could bring whatever we could to the table, but like knowing that you could rely on wardrobe and hair and makeup and like all of it coming together collectively was what was going to sell it eventually.
Yeah.
What do you miss? I mean, whether it's people, story, whatever it is, like anything specific, like what do you miss and what do you feel like you get a chance to carry with you as you move through life because of that 6 years?
I'll tell you what, I miss the people that we had the experience with. I miss our crew. I miss all of you guys.
Yeah.
But I also take that with me.
Yeah.
I took the crew with me.
Yeah, you really did. Literally.
Literally took the crew with me on the last show I did, and then handed it back to Fogelman. I think I'm now angling to get everybody back.
Okay.
But then just what we all experienced on that set is just one for the decades. I don't know if you guys ever had a job. Actually, let me ask, did you guys, so I'll tailor it back to what you're asking, Star.
Okay.
Did you guys have a job ahead of This Is Us that you would measure every other job against?
No.
You didn't.
I was young. I was new. So I didn't have that many jobs.
He's a babe. I mean, because OJ happened right before it. So I thought like I would sort of measure things off of that because it was a pretty cool experience. But like 6 years in one season is different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like we had like longevity and a deepness of roots to things that is hard to compare. I did another 6-year show before, but like, I don't know, this one hit different. That's all I can say.
What about you, Mai?
Yeah.
I had an experience, well, I guess I had a couple different shows that were significant.
Yeah.
But there was one show that it felt different, the making of it. It was a show called American Dreams. And I remember the guys at the top one day, I heard a story and they would say this to the crew, where they were privately in their office. It was the showrunner and the directing EP. And one of them asked, he said, "You think you'll ever have an experience like this again?" And they go, "No, I don't think so. I think this was about the best." And they reflected that to the crew and the cast and all of us. And it was just like, well, that's a heavy moment. Because I was a guest star, like a recurring guest star. But I like really got pulled into this group, and the crew and everybody that was there was just a different kind of making of it. But then I took that sentiment, and every job after, I would kind of assess, what was this job like? You know, did it have that kind of same spirit of making the show that this other show did? Was I able to contribute enough to it? Was I able to kind of like pick somebody up on a bad day, support somebody, kind of pull somebody in? Or was I an asshole or anything like that? You know, like those moments of self-reflection where you just want the experience to be better. So then when I got to this, it was like, oh, same thing. Like I had been on other shows that had gone maybe several seasons, but this was just a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So I think I always still try to not replicate it, because you can't.
Right.
I mean, like I had the whole crew with me on this last ABC show. I had a different experience.
Yeah.
Just a different beast.
Sure.
It's hard to gauge the amount of hard work that went into making this show feel so effortless.
Yeah.
It just felt easy.
Yeah.
And
it was an exciting thing. I used to say, and I still kind of back this up, I would get to set as early as I could because I just wanted to be there in the experience of it.
Yeah.
And when I left every day, I was a little bummed out.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
There was never a day that you, like, I remember showing up to work like,
You had some early calls too, Mandy Moore.
Oh,
yeah, but I
Early
mean,
and late,
even when you're
3 a.m.
like in the crazy heat, or you knew it was like an emotionally challenging thing, it was like I was with my favorite people, like actors, crew, everything. It's like we really truly were family.
Yeah.
We were doing work that like meant something to us, meant something to the audience. Like
that was positive. That had positivity
adding
built
value
into it.
in the world.
yeah.
Like, and I think we all were so acutely aware from the beginning, like this is different.
Yeah.
And we would even, I mean, you were much better at this than I was, but like impart that on the children too, on the kids. Like, not every job is like this.
I hate to break it to you.
I hate to break it to
Never
you.
gonna
Like,
get-
this is your first gig, and like
Sorry
they're not
about
all
that.
like this. Like, we've been doing this for 20, 25 years,
I
and
know
like,
it's hard for you guys to understand, but still, I mean, even like now, like I'll talk to Niles or something or Logan or any of them like after a job, and they'll be like, "Man, it's not the same." I'm like, "It's not the same, but you try."
yeah.
Yeah.
You try. I'm like,
Yeah.
you go in, you be yourself, you remember what we all did here, and you try and put that into whatever set you walk into. And I guarantee you will have a good time, and so will everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just by being there, man.
For shizzle.
Like, what a rare thing we get to do.
For shizzle.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
What else?
How many episodes did you direct?
3. Just 3.
3.
Yeah. Just did the
Just
3.
three.
Just 3.
That's
You're
a
so
lot. That's
you're
more
so
than I think
good at
anybody
it.
else.
It's
Yeah,
such
he really
a pleasure
is.
to be
Yeah.
directed by you.
Thanks, man.
You love it. You clearly love it.
I do. It's a different thing. And again, I feel in that capacity a guest.
Right. Right.
I do feel a guest where I'm like, let me not intrude. Let me hopefully inspire. Let me stay the fuck out of the way
Right.
best I can. And let me make sure I can protect everybody's performances in front of the camera, as well as the crew, what their artistry is, best I can. And then, you know, of course, you kind of hand the baby off to Fogelman. He kind of chops it up, reassembles it, and it's even cuter.
That's true.
What doesn't normally happen with babies?
No, it doesn't happen with babies. No.
Which Mandy and I have talked about that. Like when we edited, I only did one episode, but when I edited it, I was very proud. I was like, wow, this is good. And I think it's pretty good what I'm giving Dan. And then Dan did things to it that I almost couldn't tell you what he did.
Right.
But the musicality of the man, the way his life rhythm, and the way he infuses it into every moment of this show is hard to explain to people.
You know, it's hard though, as a director, if you cut to a different beat. And I found that in my first episode. It was like Fogelman was doing like classical and I was playing jazz.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would like, when I handed it over, I'm like, okay. All right. I'm like, but also I'm like, I'm a guest. I'm here to service his vision and everybody. But then I remember I had a call with Ken where I asked him like, hey man, how do you, as an artist, hand over something that you feel like you delivered on, you know, and of course, you know, Dan's gonna make it what he wants to make it, but also like he has as much care. He has as much desire to make everybody look good and feel good and move the show, and it's his to do. And I'm like, how did you manage that? How did you manage that within yourself as an artist? And I would direct, and then I just started like handing it off. And he literally, he told me he wouldn't cut them.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that personal,
Man,
I would
stake in it in the same way.
Yeah. And you know, and Fogelman always made everybody look good. He cared about all of us.
really
He cares
did.
about all of us.
Yeah. Have you directed since the show? Did you direct on your show?
No, it was too much, man.
Too much.
That's a
going
lot.
on.
I couldn't prep. I didn't have time to prep.
Yeah.
What we were going to do was I was going to direct the first maybe 2 episodes back of the second season.
Okay.
Just because then, okay, cool, I can prep. I could get my acting stuff in line. Because I was also on that show. I was doing story docs. I was doing story docs, outlines, studio drafts, and then production drafts.
Nice.
Like
Because
giving
for
notes
anybody
on-
listening, you weren't just the star of the show.
Yeah.
You created the show.
I didn't create it. I was there when we were chopping up the ingredients.
Right.
Yeah.
Made the soup, delivered the soup.
Yeah. People love soup. Studios
I love soup. Yeah.
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 Soup.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
I have to say, Milo has ruined me for working with probably anybody else just because he is so unbelievably prepared as a director, but also as an actor. And the way you approach the job, like I feel like I care as much as you do. Like I want to be as prepared as well, but I have never really found like my match in that same way. And I hadn't done television before, but I was like, oh, as we all move on to like the next things, I'm like, not everybody's Milo. Not everybody works this way. Not everybody wants to run lines without even like, we would just look at each other and like Milo would start a scene or I would start a scene and we would just like go through our lines and just do it over and over again or stop when we felt like we had it and
didn't want to push too much because
exactly.
like there was emotion
It's like, let's
there,
save
whatever.
it for the day. But you truly have like ruined me for working with anybody else because I'm like, no one's going to be like, just, I know. No one brings
He's
to the
making
table,
a face.
but
He's
what
making a Milo face. You have to see it
Milo,
on
shucks.
YouTube.
Yeah. but I mean, that's also like, again, I think that's like one of those things though. It's like, you know, Mandy, I'm sure whatever, you know, everything that you've done after the show or anything that we've all done after the show, you take again the sentiment of what we experienced here and you just try and put a little bit of that infuse it in.
Absolutely.
You know, like maybe it inspires somebody that you're so on top of your shit that someone's gonna be like, wow, man, Mandy Moore really brought it. So like I gotta make sure that I'm prepared for her. You know?
Absolutely.
So
don't all shucks me now too. Look at
yeah,
you guys
no,
both
she's
all
totally
shucksing over here
all
on this
shucks
couch.
couch.
You guys are beasts.
Shucks.
yeah.
We're running low, but this was a joy.
A joy.
You are a joy.
Likewise, man.
Milo
Yes.
Ventimiglia. And I know that our audience is going to be over the moon ecstatic when they get to this episode. Is there anything that's going on in your life right now that's coming up artistically that you want to shout out?
Oh man, artistically, I think we're all experiencing a weird time in the business
Yes,
right
we
now.
are.
It's a very
Yes.
weird time.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I feel like the sleeping giants like just slowly yawning awake. Things are popping up. Development, as we all know, is a slog. Like we gotta sit and talk about some things. But like nothing like yet. Like set up one show, I got 2 or 3 in the hopper.
Okay.
But like nothing that's like packed ready to ship out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
Gives you time to focus on your new man.
Yes, which is nice. I mean, you know, through the strike, of course, it was a very unfortunate thing, and you know, there are billions of dollars lost in the industry and whatnot. But at the same time, I think through that, you try and be grateful for the moments you get. Like I was
the
like,
silver
wow,
lining of
To reset.
yeah,
being with family and people that you love. And
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, I've soaked it up best I can. Spent time with my family, my friends, surfed my brains out, and now I'm like, all right, cool, guys.
Okay.
Ready to work?
Okay.
Yeah, it's time to go.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
yeah,
can't wait to see what is next.
I know.
Absolutely. You can always find Milo on Instagram where he doesn't post anything. It's pretty
waiting.
freaking,
We're
it's
waiting.
pretty freaking awesome. Everyone's like,
dude, you're funny, man. Yeah,
It's the most curated,
Yeah.
it's the most beautifully curated Instagram account on Instagram.
30 shots, bro. It's good, though.
Yeah.
There's 30 hot shots.
all at one time. It's like get on the phone. Like, guys, wake up! Milo's posting on Instagram.
Do you know that BuzzFeed actually wrote an article that I didn't know the etiquette to Instagram?
Oh my
No,
goodness!
so I'll try to make this a really quick story. Yeah, so of course, like I have long bouts where I just don't post because I'm like focused on life and you know, I pick
Sure.
things up. But
You're healthy.
You have better things to do.
Yeah.
Sure. But along the way, I still, you know, photograph and like all kinds of different mediums. Like Sarah, we could have some conversations about photography. God bless you for putting up with me. Like, no, I mean it. God bless you. One day when I was like, I think I've been on for like 5 years. I think it's time to just like drop something in. So I think I had 100 photos. And it took a while to prep.
Yeah.
Because I like
Sure.
didn't want to like drop in like one and then like take time. I'm like, nah, here's like
All of 'em.
All of them.
Yeah.
And so I put up 100 photos. I think it was all in the course of like, it took me 3 minutes to upload everything. After I had like prepped it and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm just like push the button. But the next day, BuzzFeed had written an article. It said Milo Ventimiglia doesn't know the etiquette of Instagram. Does he not know you can put multiple photos in one tag, in one post? Does he not know this? And I was like, okay, first of all, whoever established the rules wasn't around at the beginning of it. Like
Yeah.
I was there in the beginning of this shit. Like, just a bunch of artists share collective moments and all of that. And so, so articles about,
That's hysterical. And
with
If anybody knows anything about etiquette, it's BuzzFeed.
all their, all their articles about this or that.
Yeah.
Or 10 different things, 10 different ways to show etiquette.
Anyways, we hope you love the podcast, though. If you're listening.
Tangent. No, you listen. What's been nice too for me, like I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see you guys. I love you guys.
Love you too.
I look forward to coming back. Thank you. I look forward to coming back. But also, it's a fun, kind of proud moment for me to see you guys like pick up the torch and continue it.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a lot of hard, struggling stuff in the world that people need that positivity. They need
Yeah.
the reminders again.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so when I found out you guys were doing this, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's right, you three, because I feel like you guys represent so many sides of the show. At the same time, like you are able to speak about every little moment of it because you were so embedded.
Yeah.
You guys were all so embedded there. So I just like, I'm proud. Like I get
Thanks,
emotionally proud in
Mike.
moments, you know?
I feel like people weren't ready to let the show go.
No,
No.
not at
And
all.
so
no.
this was, but rightfully it ended when it should have.
Sure.
Yep.
But this is our way of being able to honor this very, very special period of time in our lives and the audience's life. And to be able to go back through it, it does feel really special. And I think it's not lost on us that, you know, we get to, like you said, you know, carry the torch and continue having these conversations, and people are still hungry to go back and talk about it. Like it was this unacknowledged sort of latent emotion that now is able to like bubble up to the surface, and people are able to, you know, chat with us about it.
What's
which is
going to
great.
be interesting too is like, you know, I've had shows in my history in my career of working in front of the business that like, you know, they're just now discovering, like teenagers just discovered Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, you realize like that was 24 years ago for me, and you're 13.
I watched every episode of that during the pandemic.
You did?
Wow.
It was Rachel's breastfeeding show.
no amazing.
And we
That's
sat there with our
incredible.
newborn. And me being disconnected, I was like, Milo.
Oh, you had no idea?
I missed the show the first time around. I was not the
Yeah.
demo.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
That's
was
so
just, it
funny.
was one of those.
That's when I got to watch I told you I'd never seen it before.
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't
fun show.
seen
It's a
it.
great show. It's timeless.
But I know because people would come up to me. They're like, "So you Team Jess?" I'm like, "Yes." Like I
Who?
don't Team
know.
Jess.
No, I know. You're
Right?
saying,
You're
I was
J-
speaking as you, like who?
Was it
Yeah.
you and Jared Padalecki? Were
Yeah,
you the-
your boy. You and Jared. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, Jared's incredible, man. He's
great.
the best. He's the
a good
best dude.
He's like a big old puppy dog.
He truly is.
Anyway, guys, this was Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
Let's give him one more round of applause.
Yay, Mike.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
If and when we get to 214 and other sort of
Yeah, call
tentpole
me up, man.
things,
Big.
I'm
please
around.
Yeah.
and
Dude,
thank you.
I'm around.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm around.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
I just had to make sure I'm like, I can be here for you guys. But
oh,
like, yes, no,
you're
I'm here
so
for you.
sweet.
This is the wrap
all
up.
you have to do is look into that camera
that camera.
and say, that was us.
That was us. Peace, yo.
Easy.
What up, gang? SKB here, bringing you a new segment called The Retread, where we give you a quick snapshot of this week's episode and sum up our favorite moments. Today, I'll be giving you a quick recap of the episode Milo Ventimiglia and Us. The Retread is brought to you by Peloton. Find your push, find your power with Peloton. All right, so when it came to playing Jack, Milo felt like he was playing a version of his own father, Pete. Good guy. Know him very well. He also felt there was a lot of pressure, a lot of weight to be a superhero for all. Hard to live up to. I can understand that pressure as well. Chris shared that the show had a very positive effect on his marriage. Sometimes he felt like the writers were walking around inside of his house. Women tell Milo they wish their husbands were a little bit more like Jack. Chris jokingly quips that maybe the women need to be a little more like Rebecca. Shots fired. Pew, pew. Milo wishes he had spent more time working with the adults. He was always in the past because he passed away, always working with the younger versions of us. We would have liked more time with him as well. Mandy didn't know that Milo was going to be in the hospital bed when she walked into the room and saw that he had passed away. We'll get more into that in season 2, but once we get to it, you'll know what we're talking about. None of us, myself, Sully, Mandy, or Milo, could say that we had a job before This Is Us that we could measure every other job against. This show stands out. Thank you for joining us, Milo. We'll see you again soon. Thanks for that retread. That Was Us is filmed at The Crow and produced by Rabbit Grin Productions and Sara Wehrheim. Music by Taylor Goldsmith and Griffin Goldsmith.
Da-da-da-dum, da-da-dum. That was us.